I shall forever rap biblical demonology. They are demonic spirits who work miracles and go out to all the rulers of the world to gather them for battle against the Lord on that great judgment day of God the Almighty. Look, I will come as unexpectedly as a thief. Blessed are all who are watching for me, who keep their clothing ready so they will not have to walk around naked and ashamed. They sacrifice to demons, not to gods they did not know, to new gods, new arrivals that your fathers did not fear. They even sacrificed their sons and their daughters to the demons. They shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, by sacrificing them to the idols of Canaan, and they polluted the land with murder. They defiled themselves by their evil deeds, and their love of idols was adultery in the Lord's sight. No, now war arose in heaven. Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down. That ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Demons tempt believers to sin, and they can cause disease. They can cause physical pain, emotional torment, and erratic movement. They can cause tremendous pain and distress, but none of this is outside of what God has allowed. The elaborate demonstrations of demonic possession that we see in movies is not so common here, but it is more prevalent in the third world countries. Here, possession looks more like vile hatred for Christ in Scripture, a public mocking, defiling anything that is of Christ. When he came to the other side into the country of the Gadarenes, two men who were possessed by demons met him as they were coming out of the tombs. They were so extremely violent that no one could pass by that way. Then a demon-possessed man who was blind and unable to speak was brought to him. He healed him so that the man could both speak and see. And all the people were amazed and said, "Is not this the son of David?" And when they came to the crowd, a man came up to him and kneeling before him and said, "Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic, and he suffers terribly, for often he falls into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him." And Jesus answered, "O faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here." And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. When he got out of the boat, immediately a man from the tombs with an unclean spirit met him, and he had his dwelling among the tombs, and no one was able to bind him anymore, even with a chain, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been torn apart by him, and the shackles broken in pieces, and no one was strong enough to subdue him. Constantly, night and day, he was screaming among the tombs and in the mountains and gashing himself with stones. So he healed many who were sick with various diseases and drove out many demons. But he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. Then Jesus got up early in the morning when it was still very dark, departed, and went out to a deserted place, and he spent time in prayer. Beware. Now the Spirit of the Lord had departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him. Saul's attendants said to him, "See, an evil spirit from God is tormenting you." Whoever makes a practice of sinning is of the devil, for the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they were born children to them. These were the mighty men who were old, the men of renown. For such men are false apostles, deceitful workmen, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So it is no surprise if the servants also disguise themselves as the servants of righteousness. Their end will correspond to their deeds. We as Christians must guard ourselves from spiritual attack by taking on the armor of God, by dwelling in the Word and fleeing from sin. Prayer and fasting and dwelling in the Word is now how we defend ourselves from demonic attack. We must resist the devil and flee from him, not giving him a foothold on our life. Teacher, said John, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop because he was not one of us. Do not stop him, Jesus said, for no one who does a miracle in my name can, in the next moment, say nothing bad about me. Then a spirit came forward and stood before the Lord, saying, I will entice him. And the Lord said to him, by what means? And he said, I will go out and will be a lion spirit in the mouth of all of his prophets. And he said, you are to entice him, and you shall succeed. Go out and do so now. Therefore, behold, the Lord has put a lion spirit in the mouth of all these your prophets. The Lord has declared disaster for you. Put on all of God's armor. Put on all of God's armor so that you will be able to stand safe against all strategies and tricks of Satan. For we are not fighting against people made of flesh and blood, but against persons without bodies, the evil rulers of the unseen world, those mighty satanic beings, and great evil princes of darkness who rule this world, and against huge numbers of wicked spirits in the spiritual world. But also some of the exorcists. Ryman, Jesus was the ultimate exorcist. Jesus was the ultimate exorcist. Ryman and Thanatist.